I cannot pick up this game because that's the first thing I think of. Actually, I want to play that. You can find an indie game to enjoy. I own these games and can put them in a video. I have free will. I was the problem. That is Skalimas to you. Hello, friends and gamers. So, by the time this video goes up, voting's probably closed. We're going to vote for the Golden Joystick Awards together. I know you were allowed to vote. I think it was once a day, but I did the thing where I forgot to record my video with my picks. Reacting, I don't know who's nominated, quite frankly. I've gone this long without knowing who's nominated. I think I have some ideas of who's nominated. Obviously, I pay a lot of attention to the games industry. So I think I have some ideas. What might be fun, and I might do this because this is the only video I have to record tonight, and it's the only one I will be recording. So what I think we're gonna do, I'm gonna try to guess. But also, if I am not enjoying that, we will stop that. Because I don't think I have to. I'm basing this off of when I went to the thing for the Game Awards last year. I was able to, like, without fail, I had like probably like an 80%, what's it called? An 80% like margin of error? Not like 80%. You know, like I was like 80% of the time I was right in guessing what game was going to win the award when they were now announcing the awards. So we're gonna do a little bit of that today. I'm gonna say with reasoning who I think will win, but also who I'm voting for, things like that. But also, we will be doing the same next month, or actually I think this will probably be going up in November, so later this month, for the actual live stream of the Golden Joystick Awards, because thanks to the teams over at the Golden Joystick Awards, how many times can I say that in 5 minutes? Thanks to the teams over at the Golden Joystick Awards and Streamers Connected, I am going to be a official co-streamer / content creator person for the Golden Joystick Awards. This video is like, I guess technically because I am a co-streamer and I'm not embargoed to say that. I checked, honestly. I did check. I made sure. I've actually known for a couple of days. Technically, I'm a co-streamer for the awards show itself, but I like doing the voting videos. We do this for the Game Awards. I've done it in the past for Golden Joystick, so we gotta do the voting video, obviously, but there will be a video for the actual awards because I'm co-streaming that. So, yippee! Just thought I'd get all the housekeeping done in a way. So I think we're gonna start doing the voting. It does close, so you can no longer vote, which frankly, I feel like that is the best way for me to do it because it's like, hey, you can't tell me whether my picks are good or bad, and it's over. It's over. Voting's closed. We're leaving it up to fate for the rest of the month now. I'm also so tired while I do this. All right, let's get this done. So start voting. I don't want to see the video. So first we have Best Storytelling. The Best Storytelling Award celebrates the games that engage our emotions with deft scripting and technical brilliance. So first up, obviously here we do have Clair Obscura Expedition 33. I have like a love-hate relationship with this game and I haven't even played it yet because I was gunning for this game for like a good year before it came out. I was like, this is going to be an amazing game. This game is going to blow everything out of the water. It is what I would consider indie adjacent. It is a smaller team, but I do believe they have some sort of funding. Don't quote me on that though. I did try to get a review copy multiple times and got ghosted every single time, but I digress. I still haven't played this game, mainly because this is kind of where the hate relationship part comes in. This game did a Steam bundle with a game that launched more recently this year and accidentally included generative AI in the game, which first of all, how do you do that accidentally? Because the thing is, it's like, oh, we accidentally included the generative AI. Our bad, we'll take it out. But you still used that generative AI in creating the game. Like, it's still there. You know, like, even if you couldn't just put a placeholder there, you had to use an AI placeholder. Rubs me really the wrong way. I really don't like generative AI. I've made this opinion clear time and time again. I will not play a game that knowingly I know has generative AI. I will not play it on the channel. I refuse to. If you bamboozle me into playing a game with generative AI because you did not disclose that properly, you will hear it from me. I will not treat that game kindly on the channel just because I don't think that generative AI is a good thing. It's not worth it. So this game, I will make it clear, Clair Obscura has not used, to my knowledge, any generative AI, but it's kind of like you are, like how people, like the saying to a certain degree, like that you become like the closest, like 5 people you, I guess, hang out with or are friends with or stuff like, you know, like that saying, I can't remember the exact wording right now, but it's like, who do you associate yourself with and what do they stand for? And that it just, I haven't been able to pick up this game, and I'm assuming this game will be nominated for a ton of awards. So I want to get this out there now. I cannot pick up this game because that's the first thing I think of is that Steam bundle. And I'm not going to say the game that they bundled with. You can probably figure it out if you go look on Steam and see what bundles this game is in and start Googling, you can probably figure it out. I'm just going to say that. If the game comes up in a nomination, I will point it out. I will do that. But I have not been able to pick it up for that reason. And I think it's going to win a lot of awards. I would not be surprised right off the bat. This is probably going to win best storytelling. I've heard from many people that they have cried playing this game, and that usually means some pretty good storytelling. So I'm not personally going to vote for Expedition 33, but I do think it's going to win. Having Silent Hill F here is one of those games where it's like, yes, this game has done very well, and I know the story is really, really good. It's been a little bit contentious with certain groups of people, but what I look for in a story, I knew from the first time I saw this game, I was like, I have not even picked up a Silent Hill game myself yet, but I want to pick up this game. There was just so many parts of it that I was like, actually, I want to play that. And I've heard really good things about the story. I think the story, from what I've seen of it, was also done very well personally. And I personally go for story-heavy games. I love a good story. I've always been a big reader. Stories matter a lot to me in games. So I am intrigued by Silent Hill F being nominated, but also the board of people nominating these games usually get early access to a lot of these games in order to nominate them. So I'm not surprised Silent Hill F is here, but I'm like a little bit surprised at the same time because it did come out so recently. I don't know what their cutoff was for when the game had to have come out for it to be included in this year's awards. I don't think Silent Hill F is going to win because I think it could off of recency bias. I will say that. I don't think it's going to win because I know a lot more people really liked Claire Obscure. But I would not be upset if it won, is what I'm getting at. I also have no idea what I'm voting for yet. So then, interesting one, because I feel like I didn't even know this game came out. Lost Records Bloom and Rage. I wanted to play this. I didn't know it was released. I'm gonna be so real. I thought this was still like in development hell. I'm so serious. I did not even know this came out. Wanted to play it based off story though, so I'm assuming the story is good. I haven't played it though. Interesting. Okay, Mafia the Old Country. This is the one that I think just came out as well. Whose anime head is that? Hold on. Oh, 100 line. Okay, we'll get to that in a second. But I have my OBS zoomed in a little bit more, but I just saw, like, I'm gonna show you. This is what I saw. I scrolled the screen a little bit so you guys can see exactly what I saw. I'm like, whose anime head is that? But Mafia the Old Country being on here does surprise me because I feel like I heard very mixed opinions about this game when it came out. I don't know what those mixed opinions were regarding, so maybe the story was good, but the gameplay wasn't. Because also I feel like the complaints I was seeing were more along the lines of like, the gameplay isn't realistic enough, or like the graphics aren't like realistic enough, like there wasn't enough pores on my character. And so I don't know. I know this is also a beloved franchise, so I wouldn't put it past any Mafia game to be nominated, but I will say it's not for me, so probably won't vote for that one. I might, however, vote for the 100 Line Last Defense Academy. This is a game that is also on my to play list. I believe there was actually, or at one point in time, there was a demo available on Steam, and I really wanted to do a dedicated demo dive for it, but I just ran out of time, I think. The 100 Lad Last Defense Academy, this was another game that even before it released, I was like watching this one. I think we even, at last year's Tokyo Game Show, they did a dedicated stream for this game, and I think we watched it last year. I've been waiting for this to come out. It's again one that I haven't gotten to yet, but I'm really looking forward to getting to. I actually might vote for 100 Line. That might get my vote. I'm not gonna lie. At this point, I think it would either be Claire Obscure, even just because I've heard good things about it, and that was a game I had my eyes on, or 100 Line, because I haven't actually played any of these games yet, but those two were really on my radar. Next, and last in this category, is Blueprints. I wanted to make a video about this, and I tried to get a review copy, and once again, got ghosted multiple times. So I don't fully know too much about the story. I feel like I heard more people talking about the gameplay of this game. Story-wise, I didn't know it hit that well. So I think final verdict, Claire Obscure Expedition 33 is going to be the winner. That is where I'm putting my, if I was somebody who liked to bet on things, and I don't, I would be betting on Claire Obscure, or maybe Silent Hill F, just because of, I know it's a good story, but also recency bias, I think is gonna pull for this game as well. Personally, I think I want, but wait, part of me does want to vote for Silent Hill F myself though, because I know the story pissed off some people, and I kind of want to vote for it for that reason. Do I want to throw the votes? I think I'm gonna, I don't know. Because it's difficult when I haven't actually played a game, but have been like following a game pretty closely. Because I'm like, ooh, I think I'm gonna vote for 100 Line, just because I feel like it's not gonna get that many votes. And I kind of want to give it a vote, just because I remember like not just the gameplay story, but like the out of game story around this game being released was just a lot. Like on Twitter, that like one of the devs was on Twitter just posting about this game so much. Because they're like, the studio's gonna get shut down if you don't buy my game. It was like a triumph. And personally, I think 100 Line, I've had my eyes on the longest, possibly. I don't fully remember when we first saw Claire Obscure. I feel like I'd been gunning for it for about a year, but I could be making that up as well. I feel like I'd been watching 100 Line, because 100 Line, it's for sure been a year, because I remember watching a Tokyo Game Show stream for this game. So I'm gonna vote for 100 Line. Then we have Best Multiplayer. So this is pretty straightforward multiplayer game. I don't really play a ton of multiplayer games anymore, so we're probably gonna go through this category a little bit faster. Battlefield 6, I believe this just came out and bricked multiple PCs. So I probably won't vote for that one. Also, it's EA, and I've said things before about how if a game is published by EA or has EA attached in any way, I am a little bit weary of it, mainly because I used to be really, really into The Sims, and I kind of watched that whole thing happen, especially recently with whether it was like a buyout or an acquisition or whatever with EA. I don't really support that. Don't really love the current state of EA. That whole like thing where if a game has EA attached, I'm kind of like, ooh, I'll give it a shot, but ooh, you know, like that has become even more apparent in this current day and age, I think. So I actually didn't know Battlefield was EA, but you know, finding out, I'm not really surprised. I do think it was Battlefield 6. Don't quote me. That was like bricking multiple PCs and CPUs like when it launched. I don't know if it's still doing that. I know I have a couple of coworkers who have played it, and coworkers' boyfriends who have played it, and I don't think they've had problems. So maybe it was just a fluke thing. I don't know. I really don't. I don't play multiplayer games anymore. Okay. Rematch. I have never heard of this game, so I can't say anything on that one. Split Fiction is probably going to get my vote. Just because this game, it was from the same people who made It Takes Two. I think everyone knew this was going to be good. I really wanted to try this on Switch at the Switch demo earlier this year for Switch 2. I really wanted to try this. But if you watched the vlog, there was a whole row I missed. Or like, I think like a row and a half of games that I missed at the Nintendo Switch demo because I turned a corner and immediately face forward saw a game, a different game that I refused to play and do not want to associate with at all. And so it was kind of like a jump scare. That I was like, oh my God. And I turned the other way and forgot that there was another couple rows back there. So I think I missed this. I like saw Split Fiction when there was like 5 minutes left on my way out. And I was like, God damn it, I wanted to play that. But I might vote Split Fiction because it's an indie game. Interesting that it was published by EA as well, though. I did not know that. We might still be voting for Split Fiction. I guess it's technically indie adjacent now, then? Interesting. Next we have Mario Kart World, which I did try that at the demo for Switch 2 because it was a required game to play, and I sucked at it, and I know it had some issues upon launch as well. So, don't think I would vote for Mario Kart World. I still don't know who the winner in this category would be. Elden Ring Night Rain on here, okay. Ah, yes, the next one we'll get to in a second. I do know Night Rain went pretty hard. A lot of people really enjoyed it when it came out, and I know there's a lot of people still playing it. So I do think Night Rain would be a pretty high up there contender. Mario Kart World might win, just quite, like looking at the awards they did at Gamescom, I know Mario Kart World, I think, won multiplayer there. So I wouldn't be surprised if it won again here. I would think I would bet on that. Peak being here from Aggro Crab. I love Aggro Crab, I really do. I have not played Peak, but I love the story behind it, that it was just kind of like a silly thing they made during a game jam, and it ended up being Peak, if you will. This game looks so fun. I recently found out you can play it in single player as well. So I actually do have this on kind of like my list, my personal list of games I want to eventually get to, because I didn't know you could play it in single player, which I think is really cool that they have an option in multiplayer games to play it as single player, because there's a lot of really good multiplayer games out there that you have to play in multiplayer or you can't play it at all. And the thing I do a lot on the channel is I'll take a multiplayer game and be like, can you play it in single player? And most of the time, the answer is either just a straight no or like a yes, but. like a yes, but it kind of it isn't fun. You're like, it sucks. You know, like it's like a yes, but personally, I'll be voting for Peak. We'll do that in a second. I do think Peak could win, but it's been a while since Peak really like peaked in popularity, no pun intended. So I do think maybe a little bit of recency bias might get in there. Night Rain, I think, has a good chance. Mario Kart World has a good chance. Split Fiction, I would say, would be the winner if it was more recent. Split Fiction has been out for a while, so I feel like that recency bit is gonna play into that. And I think Mario Kart World will probably be the decisive winner just because it's a Nintendo game. Nintendo games usually have like a foot up in any category they're nominated in, but also this won at Gamescom. So I'm just like, you know what? I didn't think it was gonna win at Gamescom either. So I think it's gonna win, quite frankly. My vote is going to Peak. I hope Peak wins. Next, we have Best Visual Design. These are the games that push the limits of console or PC hardware, or that create coherent, immersive worlds that we never want to leave, which burn bright in the memory long after we finish playing. Again, this is another favorite category of mine, because I love this sort of stuff as well. I love pretty things. And one thing I'll even do while playing a game is picking apart things like coloring of a game and like the color grading on it and just like things like that. I have studied film, just so we're all on the same page. If you wonder why I care about little things like this, that's the reason. Ghost of Yotei, first of all. I have not played this yet. I do want to play it, but I can't give a decisive one there. Sword of the Sea. This is my first time hearing about this, at least in that I can remember. Clair Obscur is on here, which I'm not surprised by. We have Assassin's Creed Shadows. Also, I forgot this came out this year. That was such a run that this game did on Twitter. That was so fun. The Midnight Walk. I think I wanted to play this, if I'm not mistaken. This was definitely one I think I wanted to play. Death Stranding 2 on the beach. I know that I forgot about that one as well. And that is all that's nominated. I think personally, again, if Clair Obscur is nominated for something, I'm going to assume it's going to win. You know, like that's kind of just where we're at this point in time. I think I might vote for Clair Obscur though, just because I think my thing with the visual category here is that a lot of it is these very hyper-realistic games, except for Sword of the Sea, but I do not know enough about this game to say my piece on it. But everything is very like hyper-realistic. Even the Midnight Walk to a certain degree. I honestly truly might vote for the Midnight Walk just because it's different. I would either Sword of the Sea I don't know enough about, but Midnight Walk I remember I wanted to play. And while it is like that hyper-realistic style, it's feels very creative at the same time. And not to say that these other games aren't creative, it's just very, it's like that hyper-realistic style, you know? But if we're going for visual design and we're talking about the gameplay worlds, I do think Clair Obscur is going to win. I think I want to vote for the Midnight Walk also because I think it technically is one of the only like true indie games on here. I think Sword of the Sea is also indie, but again, I don't know enough about this game. I'm going to vote for the Midnight Walk. I do think Clair Obscur is going to win though. Like I said, if it's nominated for anything, just assume it's going to win. I'm going to vote for the Midnight Walk. That's where my vote's going. Best indie game! First graphic here, I know I haven't played, but this is indie games. The best indie games unite imagination, style, and innovation with inventive, rewarding controls to reinvigorate your love of gaming. I'm not so sure about that one because I play indie games all the time. I always have. So let's see how many games I have played in this category, because what best indie game categories tend to do is they'll pick like the big heavy hitters of like the yearly indie games, and I don't always play the really big ones because I like to do a wider variety. And also sometimes the really big indie games in a year are games that fall into a genre that I prefer not to play. I just don't find it as interesting, so I just don't pick it up, that sort of thing. I do try to play a lot of indie games, including popular ones, not as popular ones, but best indie game categories tend to go one of either way for me, where I've either played like every game in the category or I've played none of them, which is interesting. But it just goes back to the thing I say all the time about indie games is that there's so many indie games out there. Without fail, you can find at least one indie game. Every single person in the world can find at least one indie game that will scratch that little itch in their brain and will be their new favorite or one of their new favorite games for all of eternity. You can find an indie game to enjoy. Everyone can. There's one out there for everyone. I will stand by that. There's so many of them. Anyways, Abiotic Factor. I might have to bring up my Steam for some of these. Hold on, give me a second. I have not played this one. Okay. I think I had it on a demo dive at some point and it became a demo dive reject. When I say demo dive reject, it's not a bad thing necessarily. It's just that this was supposed to go in a demo dive and I ran out of time and the demo went away or something like that. I never got to recording it. It's just things like that where it was supposed to be in a demo dive video, which is a compilation of demos I will do on the channel from time to time. And it just didn't get in the video. So I call it a reject. There's nothing wrong with the game. It's just that I ran out of time to record it. Next, Skin Deep. I feel like I vaguely heard of this one, but I think it's more horror based because this screenshot is not ringing any bells. I will say that right now. Next, we have Deep Rock Galactic Survivor. Again, I feel like I vaguely heard about this one, but I think it was in a genre I'm not interested in, so I skipped over it. Citizen Sleeper 2 Star Wars Vector. I've heard about this one for the sole purpose that actually, I was on the mailing list, like the normie everyone can join mailing list for Fellow Traveler because they were releasing a different game that I wanted to keep up with. But then I got too many emails and unsubscribed. So that's where I've heard of this game. I don't think I've seen any gameplay though. I do know I've seen the next game though, Despelote. This is one that I believe, did we demo this? I feel like this might have been in a demo dive and it was too beefy for my PC, but it was really, really cool. So right now my vote is going to Despelote. I don't know what I can say the winner would be, but I believe this was in a demo dive, or I own this and it's on a player nay list. Hold on, this is some Caves of Could. I think I own this game. I do, in fact, own this game, actually from 2024. Interestingly enough, it came out December of 2024. Okay, that's where I was talking about earlier, the cutoff for the awards, what constitutes as what year award show. Caves of Could. I received this game from someone. Let me see if I can look up where I got this game from. Hold on. Give me a quick sec here. This is gonna be a long yappy video. I have like a database list in my Notion where I list out where I get certain games from. And I don't know if this is actually on there. It is from Kit Fox Games and Pop Agenda. All right, I have not played this game yet, but it is on my player nay backlog list, which is very similar to demo dives, but it constitutes more of games I received from devs or publishers or PR teams that I need to put in videos but haven't gotten to yet. This is on there, and I think it's actually fairly high on the list because I started it around the end of 2024. So yeah. I do want to play this. They might get my vote just because I have it and I have not played it yet, so I feel kind of bad about that. Baby Steps. This will probably win. Or the next one that I see later on in the list. Baby Steps. I did record a demo dive clip for this game. I had very mixed opinions of it because there's like a story element to the game and I absolutely kind of hate it. Like I really don't like it. But the gameplay element itself, I was kind of obsessed with. And I did hear, it's kind of funny. I did hear that if you play through the whole game, skipping all the cutscenes, there's an unskippable like half-hour long cutscene allegedly at the end, which I think is hilarious. Because if I were to play this game, I would be skipping all the cutscenes, quite frankly, because I just didn't like the story, but the gameplay was fun. So that was my final verdict on the demo. I don't know if the 30-minute cutscene thing is real, but I think it's really funny if that's the case. Because in my personal opinion, the story wasn't good, so that you're dooming a lot of players to that 30-minute cutscene, myself included, and that's really funny. Then we have Blueprints. This indie game I don't know enough about because I did not get to play it, but I know it was pretty popular for a certain amount of time. It's been a minute though, so I feel like with recency bias, Baby Steps might be the winner. It is also a Devolver Digital title, which Devolver Digital is pretty big in the sphere of indie gaming, so I wouldn't be surprised if that one won. Bennett Foddy's on it, there's a whole bunch of people and names attached to this that make it a much bigger indie game. Sort of something like Silksong, it has a lot of hype around it. But also Blueprints did not get to play. I know it did well, so I wouldn't be surprised if it won. I would be a little bit surprised, but Herdling, we're gonna vote for Herdling, actually. I made my decision. I don't think it's gonna win because I haven't heard enough people talk about this game. I absolutely adored this game. The gameplay and mechanics itself is a little bit wonky, but actually now that I think about it, I think this was an off-camera demo dive and I spent like half an hour playing it when I was supposed to only do 15 minutes or like 10 minutes for each game. I spent way too long in Herdling. The controls are a bit wonky, like I said, but it's such a darling little game. I love it so much. I think I actually rated it quite high if it was an off-camera demo dive. I love Herdling. More people need to play it, myself included. So yes, I probably will vote for Herdling. Ooh, here's the thing. Wanderstop, I think I own this game as well. It's on that same player nay list that Caves of Could is on. Hold on, before I start saying things. I do in fact own Wanderstop. Yep, there it is. All right. And where did I get this game from? Wanderstop I received from Ivy Road, it looks like. Yes. So from the developer, yes, I got it from Ivy Road. Ooh, I think my top three here: Herdling, Wanderstop, and Caves of Could are honorable mentions, as well as Despelote. I think Baby Steps has probably a very strong chance of winning here. Abiotic Factor, I feel like I've heard enough about that it could also be the winner. Blueprints, a very strong. I think it's going to be between Baby Steps and Blueprints, quite frankly, just because those ended up being pretty big. Personally, I am going to vote for Herdling because I did demo that one. But coming to the channel soon, coming soon to a channel near you, aka this one, Caves of Akud and Wanderstop. Actually, I might see if I can't record that player name before the actual awards because I do own both of these games. So me, who is currently editing this video, hi, go make a list, possibly to do a player name before the Golden Joystick Awards happens, because I own these games and can put them in a video. I have free will. I might try to do that now, actually, also with some demo dive situations as well, and see how many games we can actually play from Golden Joystick. So yeah, look forward to that, I guess. I'm gonna vote for Herdling. Yay, Herdling. We have another indie game category, but this particularly is self-published. So the description says, and I'm going to read most of it because I feel like this one counts here. This one matters. Self-published is a new category for games that have been developed and published by a small team or developer. So earlier I said certain things are like indie adjacent, like something like Clair Obscur is indie adjacent. It is a smaller team, but it's not it's smaller in the fact that there's like still, I think, less than 50 people on that team, but there was executives and people pushing the game as far as I know of. Also, something like Dave the Diver is indie adjacent. It was pushed as an indie game, but it had like big funding on it. So I would consider that indie adjacent, and sometimes, unfortunately, indie adjacent games do get looped in with true indie games, and I feel like that's been a big controversial thing in the last like year or so. I do have opinions on it, but this is not the place to talk about them. But this is particularly for self-published games, and I believe the Game Awards does actually have a very similar category. But this award recognizes the increasingly broad definition of indie games with a special focus on teams without the financial or technical support of a larger games publisher. They do a really good job of explaining that, actually. Titles entering markets less well-served by traditional publishing. So, love that. We have Lonely Mountain Snow Riders, which I think I got an email about this earlier today. I think they just sold like a pretty big amount of copies. I'm not going to go look up that number because I would have to open a new tab and everything. I think they just hit a big copies sold milestone. So good for them. I have not played this game, but I have heard a little bit about it. And then obviously I think this was literally in my inbox earlier today. So, oh, spilled. Oh, I need you guys to see what I saw it. Yep, that's okay. We'll talk about that in a second. Spilled. I did demo Spilled last year. I had some mixed opinions on it. I know a lot of people really like this game, but I just don't think it was the game for me. This screenshot does a really good example of explaining why I struggled with it a little bit. But if you look here, the clear water, there's a lot of detail in there. And the pixel art is beautiful in this game. Really enjoyed that while I was playing it. But I will say, my issue with it was that when you have the clear water, like, I got overstimulated with this game very quickly. That was the issue. I'm putting it bluntly. I got overstimulated and I was not able to enjoy the demo as much as I know a lot of other people have. I was the problem with this one. And that's okay. Sometimes the game just isn't going to be for you for like a very small arbitrary reason. And that's okay, because it is for somebody else. In fact, Spilled is for a lot of people, and I still recommend this game. I think I still have it on like my Steam wishlist backlog, like to come back to it another time. I don't hate this game. It just wasn't for me. I do think it's a strong contender, and I would love if Spilled won, particularly because this was literally single person who developed and published this game, and the entire story around that, watching that development cycle take place, was really cool. So I do hope it wins, but the next game we get to is probably gonna take that. Hades 2, which is interesting because yes, this is technically self-published. Supergiant does all of it, but Hades, I guess Hades I would consider something closer to, because there's like indie adjacent, if we're talking about tiers here. At the top would be like indie adjacent, which is an indie or small game produced by a small team with like corporate funding behind it, that sort of thing. I think the next tier down is like the big indies. So like your Hollow Knights, your Hades, the following sequels that came out this year. I would not be surprised if we saw Silksong in this category, quite frankly. And if Silksong is in this category, it's going to win. I will be voting for Hades 2. We'll come back up to it. Hades, I have not played a ton of Hades 2. I did a couple hours in the early access. I have not played it since the official launch. Hades 1, the first one, is to this day one of my absolute favorite games. I don't think I'm going to like Hades 2 as much, or I'm going to like it for vastly different reasons to Hades. I did really, really enjoy the gameplay. I did play in early access, and for that reason, I will be voting for Hades 2. Even if I had not played any of it yet, I'd probably be voting for Hades 2, just based on how much I enjoyed Hades 1. Like I said, one of my favorite games to this day. Quick side note, I drive a Jeep, and people who have Jeeps like to decorate their car for the holidays. And I really like Halloween, and it's a Jeep thing to put like a fake skeleton on your car. I did that and named it Skelly after the skeleton in Hades. That is Skelemus to you. But yeah, I will be voting for that one. Next, we have Promise Mascot Agency, which I think I own this game. Hold on, let me check. I do in fact own this game. It is on a player nay list somewhere. Thank you to, let me look it up. Hold on, give me a second. Thank you to Neon Hive. So they had a PR team on that one, which is fine. We won't be playing this. I'm just gonna, any game that I have on the player name backlog that is shown up here, I'm throwing on a video. It's happening. I might even put Hades 2 in there so it gives me a chance to like play that one, quite frankly. But Promise Mascot Agency is gonna be a runner-up on my vote because they did give me a copy of the game. Thank you. Yes, Sword of the Sea was an indie game. I was right about that. I don't know enough about this game, unfortunately. Keep Driving. This was a demo dive reject. I wanted to put this in a demo dive, but I think I scrapped it for whatever reason. I'm not a big car driving game person, so yeah. Interesting next nomination, Consume Me. I have heard about this game. I have debated playing it and covering it. However, there's certain subject matters involved in this game that I think would be quite triggering for me personally. So I actually have made the like specific personal choice to not cover it. I don't think it's a bad game though. I actually think that it's a really cool game and the team behind it is really cool. But it's one of those games again where it's like a, I don't want to call it a small reason because it's an important reason to me, but like in the grand scheme of things, it's like a smaller reason. It's kind of localized just to me. It's just a me thing. And again, that's okay. It's all about knowing your limits on stuff like that. And my limit is I can't play this game. Peak is nominated. We've already talked about Peak. Deltarune is God, the next two back to back. Deltarune and Silksong. It's one of the two. Deltarune, I think Silksong's gonna end up winning, but Deltarune is gonna be like a very close second place. I'm voting for Hades, but I've played Silksong. I've actually played probably the same amount of Hades 2 and Silksong at this point. I adore both. I really do. I bought both with my own money as well. I actually will probably be buying a second copy of Hades because I bought early access on Steam, and I will be getting it on my Switch as well because I do want to play it handheld. After I want to cover it and do the main story with you guys, but then I want to play the end game and like the new game plus type stuff while laying in my bed. So I probably will be getting it on Switch very soon. I actually did demo it on Switch too as well, and it played really good. So I love Hades too. It's getting my vote. Okay, still playing on PC and console. This is a very, very straightforward category. What live service game are you still playing? This is where the gacha games get brought into it. So we get to pick up the 3 options, with 1 being your favorite and 3 being our least favorite. So we get to pick a top 3. Let's go. Let's get it. Apex. I played a little bit of Apex. Dead by Daylight. I have not played. Minecraft. Funnily enough, I've actually not played Minecraft. Shock, I know. Marvel Rivals could definitely get the win because I know this was a big one this year. Rainbow Six Siege, have not played. Fortnite, also haven't. I've not played Fortnite, and I stand by that one. Call of Duty, I've played Call of Duty before, but not recently. GTA Online, I've not played a GTA game. Satisfactory, I actually think we will vote for because I have played Satisfactory. I did a first hour video for it and had a lot of fun. Satisfactory is really fun, which is interesting because this is not technically a live service game, but it is, I guess it's like I would consider it live service adjacent, I guess. Naraka Blade Point, I have not played, heard of it. I do find it interesting that they're using the Nier collab art again still. Helldivers, not played, but this could. I feel like last year, when did Helldivers get really big? Was it beginning of this year or end of last year? I don't remember. Or was it last year? Warframe is not. Interesting. Not Warframe, but like there's no gacha game on here. I guess it is PC and console, so they probably have them in the mobile category. Interesting, because I feel like in past years they have put them in PC. Well, this is gonna make things a little bit tricky then, isn't it? Well, I'm gonna vote Satisfactory for 1, Warframe for 2, and then we gotta pick I think I might just give it to Apex. Yeah, Apex will be 3. I did like what I have played of Apex, but again, it's I haven't played multiplayer games in a while. Yeah, Satisfactory, Warframe, and Apex. I'm okay with that. What do I think is going to win? Marvel Rivals. I think Marvel Rivals will probably win, or Minecraft could win, just because Minecraft is always like Minecraft had a big year with the movie coming out, so Minecraft could win. Marvel Rivals. Fortnite is always a contender. And Fortnite, Fortnite's had a big year as well, I would say. Helldivers could, but I also don't remember when Helldivers came out and when it was really big. So, this is my top 3. Do I just hit submit when I'm done? Hold on. Once happy, click submit your answers and we'll move. Okay, I thought submit would submit the whole thing. And I'm like, wait, we're not done yet. We're also only at 6 out of 22, so we should probably speed this up a little bit. All right, still playing mobile. Same rules apply, but this is where the gacha games come in now. Free Fire. I have talked about this game before and the fact that I had never heard about this game until like the last couple of years, like a couple years ago. And when I had said I had never heard of it, somebody yelled at me. It wasn't online either. It was like somebody I knew. So yeah, I still really don't know what this game is. Zenless Zone Zero is on here though, which is interesting because Zenless, like it's like, oh, you're still playing this game, this live service game. Zenless Zone Zero like came out like last year. Pokemon Go, interesting that's there. Also, this is how I find out who now owns Pokemon Go, because I know they oh god, what was it? Niantic? I know Niantic no longer had the rights, or they shut down or something. I remember making a joke about it. This is how I find out who now owns Pokemon Go, I guess. Genshin Impact will probably vote for Genshin, but it's not gonna be my number 1, actually. Clash Royale, never played. Honkai Star Rail, I think we see where my top 3 is going to be, actually. We've definitely played Honkai Star Rail. Call of Duty Mobile, I have played this before with a relative, I guess, like a distant relative at a family gathering. And I was better than them, and so they didn't want to play with me anymore, and they're no longer a part of the family. So anyways, Roblox is on here, could win, just because, again, Roblox is one of those big ones, but I know Roblox has kind of had a rough year as well. PUBG. I don't remember if I played Call of Duty Mobile or PUBG Mobile with this distant family member that's no longer part of the family. I can't tell you which one I played. Anyways, Subway Surfers. We don't talk about Subway Surfers. I can't play Subway Surfers anymore. TLDR, Subway Surfers used to be my insomnia game, so when I was up at night and couldn't sleep, I would play Subway Surfers because it was so boring it would put me to sleep. But then I would play it nonstop for like hours on end, and at one point I had like one of the highest scores in North America, and I look back on that time with regret. Anyways, we don't talk about Subway Surfers here. So, my top 3, ooh. You know, I did get fully caught up with all of season 1 of Zenless this year, and I did it while I was recovering from surgery, and it was one of the highlights of my year, I think. I'm not even lying. I wish I was lying, but I'm not. I think Zenless is getting my number 1. Ooh, I think Honkai and Genshin are like tied, quite frankly. I think I'm giving Honkai my number 2. And Genshin my number 3. They're all very close though, but Zenless particularly I would like to vote for as number 1 because really got me through a good chunk of my surgery recovery. I'm not even gonna lie, I had a great time playing this. Submit. Let me take a little quick drink break. We've been doing a lot of talking. Hydration check for all of you as well. Best remake / remaster. This one's pretty straightforward. We have Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4, Gears of War Reloaded, Talos Principle Reawakened, which I will immediately say, this is going in the Player Nay video because I received a copy of the Talos Principle Reawakened from Devolver Digital a couple months ago. I actually think that was also when I was recovering from surgery and I wasn't recording anything for a while there. Trails in the Sky, first chapter. I believe I have this in my Steam as well because the first chapter I think is... Yeah, there's a demo, so we actually will probably be putting that in this series of videos that is spawned from the Golden Joystick Awards. I don't know if I'm gonna post the videos before the Golden Joystick Awards actually happens, but I am gonna record them so that I can play. Oh, I hit my mic, so I can play the games. Elder Scrolls Remake happened this year. Metal Gear. I think Metal Gear actually possibly could win. It's either gonna be Tony Hawk Pro Skater or Metal Gear Remake, I think. My vote, personally, I think I will vote for Talos Principle because I do own the game. Oops, Studio of the Year then. Again, very straightforward. Slow Clap, which is the one for that soccer multiplayer game. Team Cherry will probably be getting my vote, and I think Team Cherry could win, quite frankly. Sandfall Interactive, also, they're the studio behind Clair Obscur, could also win, but again, it's also the bit of, if it's related to Clair Obscur, it's probably gonna win. Rebellion Developments, I don't even know what... I've not heard of the studio and I don't know what game this is. So, Aggro Crab and Landfall, interesting. I would love it if they won. They had, again, they also just released a demo for their next game. their next multiplayer release, which is insane that they did all that in 1 year. I applaud them. Bloober Team, I can't tell you what, I've heard of Bloober Team, but I don't know what game this is. I'm between Team Cherry and Aggro Crab. I really am. I do think Sandfall is going to win just because they're behind Clair Obscure. It's either going to be Sandfall or Team Cherry. My vote is going to Team Cherry because they kind of, but Aggro. All right. I think Team Cherry is probably going to win, but I'm voting for Aggro Crab because I think it's so cool what they did this year. Landfall as well, but mainly I have followed Aggro Crab for a while and their releases. They're such a fun studio as well. Anytime, like I found out about Aggro Crab back when I was still on TikTok, and I thought their games looked so fun. So I am voting for Aggro Crab. I think they had a knockout year, and I'm so proud of them. Very parasocially proud of them, but it's nice to see a game dev success story. I do think it's going to Team Cherry or Sandfall though. So then we have Best Game Expansion. I think this is a category that the Game Awards needs because games are starting to be nominated for their DLCs for the Game of the Year, and it's a DLC. I think we need a Best Expansion category, and thank you, Joystick, for having it. This is, again, exactly what it sounds like. So first we have the expansion for Atomfall, the Red Strain. I don't know enough about this franchise or this DLC to really give a bit on it. I didn't even know there was a DLC for Assassin's Creed Shadows. I thought it was just the general game. So there's that. Lies of P Overture I have heard of. I have heard of this one. I've also played a little bit of Lies of P. This game, I believe, got a dedicated demo dive back before it released. And I struggled with it so much that I just had to like be done with it. But I think about coming back to it every now and then. I really do. Lies of P, you'll always be famous. We might probably will end up voting for Lies of P. I don't know if it'll be the winner though, because I know Lies of P has a little bit more of a niche audience. It's still a very big audience. A lot of people really like this game, but I feel like it's a little bit more niche. Still Wakes the Deep, Siren's Rest is next. I have not heard of this one. No Man's Sky Voyagers, I feel like I vaguely heard about this getting a DLC, so that doesn't surprise me. And then was the DLC for the Indiana Jones game. Personally, I will be voting for Lies of P Overture, because I haven't really heard of too many other ones, but I have heard about Lies of P Overture, and I feel like when that news dropped, it was really big. So I'm gonna vote for Lies of P. I can't really say who's gonna win on that one though, because I haven't really heard of those DLCs. I feel like last year we got a lot of really big DLCs for games to the point where it was like, hey, can we get a category for this? And they did that category this year. I don't know if there was as many big ones. So Best Audio Design is next. Very straightforward. This recognizes games with outstanding sound design that elevate the playing experience to leave a lasting impression. It's audio design. First, we have Donkey Kong Bonanza. I have played a little bit of this game. I demoed it at the hands-on Nintendo Switch 2 event earlier this year. If this was a visual category, I would have to say I'm not voting for this one because I had some lag issues when I demoed it back in April. The Switch was docked and I was having some lag issues. Again, that's something I talk about more in the vlog for that event. But it was still very fun gameplay wise, and the sound design was really, really good. I will say that. So I might actually vote Donkey Kong Bonanza if there's no other games that I can really like put in this category. But Donkey Kong Bonanza, the sound design was really good. I do have to say that. Not just the sound design, but also like the feedback from the controller, because I was playing it docked with like either the Joy-Cons or the controller. I don't remember which one I was using. I do think I have footage of it somewhere, so I could tell you if I was using a Joy-Con. It was docked and I was using something that was in my hands, you know, and it vibrated, and it was really, I really liked it, the feedback. So next is 2 Point Museum. I don't know enough about this game. Death Stranding 2, don't know enough, because also I'm basing this off of have I heard people talk about sound design for any of these. The Death Stranding could win though, because that was a pretty big game. Ghost of Yotei, possibly. Battlefield 6, can't say. Chronos the New Dawn was the one that from Bloober Team, that I did not know what the game was, but I've heard a lot of good things about Chronos the New Dawn. It's a little bit out of my wheelhouse of stuff that I cover though. Personally, I'm going to vote for Donkey Kong Bonanza just because that is the only one on this list that I also have experience playing, and the sound was really good. I do have to say that. I wouldn't put it past any of these other games because I remember seeing gameplay for Chronos the New Dawn at like Gamescom and stuff, and the sound design was pretty good, but it was more like stealth sound design. I don't know who's gonna win. I think it'll be Death Stranding, quite frankly, but it's either gonna be Death Stranding or Donkey Kong Bonanza. I think also could win. I'm gonna vote for Donkey Kong though. Next, we have Best Soundtrack, which is a little bit different. This is more based on like the music in the game. So it's similar to Best Audio Design, but not. We have Silent Hill F first, which I haven't heard a ton about the music in this game. I've heard mainly things about the story and the graphics and stuff. So I can't say much for the music. Deltarune, it's a Toby Fox game. The music's always going to be good. I've heard about good things about the music. I've heard some of the music myself just in passing. So I will probably be voting for Deltarune, and I think Deltarune has a very good chance of winning for soundtrack. Interesting next game, Eric's Home, The Stolen Dream. And I do see what game is next, and that'll probably be the winner. But first of all, Eric's Home, I demoed this in a demo dive, and it was really, really, really cool, but I'm really, really bad at stealth games, and this is a stealth game. This is a really cool game, but I was so stressed doing the stealth gameplay that I genuinely cannot tell you anything about the music. I bet it has great music. It probably is super suspenseful and makes it even more stressful, but I can't tell you anything about it. I demoed this game, can't tell you. Next is Clair Obscure Expedition 33. I do think this will win the entire award here because, and actually I think this one is valid to win. I don't think this is a situation of just, oh, it's Clair Obscure, so it's gonna win. No, this actually will be the winner, and it'll probably be a very valid one because they've literally performed. I think it was at Gamescom. I think it was Gamescom opening night live. They literally performed one of the songs from this game live. There was also just a little spider on my wall, and it freaked me out a little bit, but it disappeared now. I hope you're dead. Anyways, I do think Clair Obscure is going to win. I think it deserves that win. This, again, the music I've heard from this game is absolutely beautiful and stunning. And every time I hear the music from this game, it makes me want to play it again. It makes me forget the controversy, or at least what I consider a controversy in my own little silly little brain from earlier this year. So it makes me forget all about it. I'm like, I should play this game, actually. I think Clair Obscure is going to win, but personally, I'm probably going to vote for Deltarune, just because I don't know, though. South of Midnight, I haven't heard anything about the music for, but I've heard about it. And then we have Sword of the Sea. You know, I said I was going to vote Deltarune. I think Deltarune will probably be a very close second here. I'm actually going to vote Clair Obscure. I said why I think it should win. I'm going to vote for it. All right, Best Lead Performer. So this recognizes specifically the voice actors and sometimes even motion capture actors for the game role. Yeah. So this is interesting, actually. I did say, speaking of what I consider the Clair Obscure controversy, the adjacent controversy, it was not a controversy for Clair Obscure, but it was a controversy for the altars. The game I was talking about was the altars. And I don't even need to be like hypothetically, allegedly in Minecraft, because they admitted to using AI in the development of this game, and then they forgot to take it out. They did take it out. So if you look on Steam, I believe it is no longer, or I don't think it even ever was listed as using generative AI, because on Steam, you do have to give that disclaimer if there is Gen AI in your game, but not all developers do. Sometimes they lie about it or think that using ChatGPT to translate isn't using generative AI, but surprise, it is. I'm not saying the altars did that. And also no hate or shade or anything to the actor who played this character in the altars. No hate to them. It is entirely on the side of the people who use that Gen AI in the development process of the game. It is not on, who is the actor? It's not on Mr. Alex Jordan. He had nothing to do with it. It's on the people who made the game. So I did say if the game showed up anywhere, I would say it was what game, and it did show up technically. So it was the altars, which is unfortunate because I actually did want to play this game, but based on my own personal morals and rules that I kind of govern the channel by, I will not be playing the altars. Nothing on Mr. Alex Jordan. This is the only place the altars has come up so far, and I need to talk about it somewhere. Anyways, next we have Ghost of Yote with the character of Atsu, who is voiced by Erika Ishii. I will probably vote for her. I've heard really good things about the role. I think they have handled the role outside of the game very well, because a lot of people were very upset that the Ghost of Tsushima follow-up sequel, technically, game had a female protagonist, and there was a lot of people upset with that. I think it was sick as hell, and the fact it makes me want to play it more. And I'll probably vote for, quite frankly. We have Clair Obscure again. We'll get there. Next, we have the Indiana Jones game, the titular character of Indiana Jones, voiced by Troy Baker. I don't know enough about this one, but I know they did a whole little bit. I think it was the Game Awards last year, where they had the actor, I forget who plays Indiana Jones, or like who like historically has played Indiana Jones. They had the voice actor and the actor like do a little bit together. It was fun. It was cool. But yes, I'm not voting for this one. Next, Clair Obscure Expedition 33 is here yet again for the character of Mael, voiced by Jennifer English. I think she'll win. Quite frankly, I think she'll win. Then South of Midnight, which I've not heard a ton about. I know it came out more recently. The character of Hazel, voiced by Adrian Ray. I haven't heard the voice actor from this game to know enough about it though. Then Kingdom Come Deliverance is here with the character of Henry, voiced by Tom McKay. I do think it's going to go to Claire Obscura just because, again, the role, if it's related to Claire Obscura, it's probably going to win. Ooh, I don't know who I want to vote for. You know, I think Claire Obscura's going to win, but I'm going to vote for Ghost of Yote. Supporting performer then. I was curious where the other Claire Obscura characters were, but I guess technically you're supporting. All right. Same thing. But now this is like the second guy in the game. So like the second lead. You know what's supporting. I don't need to explain the awards categories. First, we have Claire Obscura, yet again. I actually don't know your name, but I know you're pretty. I've seen this character all over the goddamn place. It's Verso, voiced by Ben Starr. Wow. This man voices in like everything. He'll probably win. I'm not even gonna be surprised. Oh, that's fun. Eric's Home, The Stolen Dream is nominated for the character of Alva, who's voiced by Lucy Griffiths. I actually didn't know that they were even gonna get a nomination. That's really cool. Indiana Jones is voiced again for Emmerich Voss, voiced by Marios Gavrilis. I don't know enough about Indiana Jones for that one. Who are you? Oh my god. Wait, what was... can we go back to the last one? What was Troy Baker nominated for? It was Indiana Jones. Hypothetically, Troy Baker could win in both categories. That would be really funny. But Troy Baker's nominated again for Death Stranding 2. I've not seen this character a day in my life, but they're sick as hell. Okay, this is interesting. Logan Cunningham is nominated for Hades 2, but it doesn't say which character, and I'm not far enough in the game to tell you who that is. But maybe that's like a spoiler measure or something. And then lastly, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is nominated again for the character of Eric, voiced by Jim High. I think I'm gonna vote for Ben Starr. Thank you. I'm a little bit predictable. PC Game of the Year is next. Very straightforward. The Altars is nominated, which is interesting. I will not be voting for it based on my own principles. Peak, I might vote for, and I think it should win. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is nominated. I've heard a lot about this year. Abiotic Factor has come up in my periphery. Hollow Knight Silksong, I think we'll vote for Hollow Knight Silksong. I think it also has a very high chance of winning. Dune Awakening, I have played. I have 10 to 15 hours, somewhere in that range of hours in this game, because I was trying to access the DLC to make a review video of it. And the more I played of it, the more I started to dislike it. So I will not be voting for Dune Awakening, and I have the authority to say that. Actually, and that is the games nominated. That's PC Game of the Year. All right. I will also say Dune Awakening, and I know I was not the only one to have a lot of technical difficulties running this on PC, so I found that based on that factor, I don't think it is the winner. I do think Silksong will win, but the thing is, I've not played Silksong on PC. I played it on Switch too. I think I'm gonna vote for Silksong. Sorry. I think Silksong will probably win too. Next is Console Game of the Year. Very straightforward. It's the same thing, but on consoles. So first of all, on here, we have Donkey Kong Bonanza. I would not be opposed to voting for this. I really liked what I played at the Nintendo event. Mario Kart World, I did not enjoy what I played at the Nintendo event as much, but I also don't typically tend to like racing games, so it doesn't surprise me. If it won, wouldn't be surprised. I know a lot of people really like this game. Monster Hunter Wilds, I know this was also pretty decisive. It didn't run super well. On PC, it didn't run super well, but I actually don't know about consoles. I've not played it on console. I've played it on PC. Sonic Racing Cross Worlds, I haven't played. I was trying to do some of the open betas and stuff, but I ran out of time. So this is technically also a channel reject, if you will, because I ran out of time to play the beta. Ghost of Yote is on here. Death Stranding 2 is on here. I think for console, I think I might vote Donkey Kong Bonanza. I really liked it. Really stuck with me. Monster Hunter Wilds, I haven't played on console, but if we're talking about a game I have played on console, Donkey Kong Bonanza is that game. I don't really know who's going to win in this category. I feel like it could be anyone's game, but personally, I'm voting for Donkey Kong. I really liked what I played. Next, we have Best Early Access Game. I think Hades 2 released into Early Access last year, actually, so that does not count, which is good because my vote would immediately go to Hades 2. I tend to try out a lot of Early Access games or like beta before they go into Early Access. I have a whole series on the channel where I play Early Access reviews, do like early access reviews of games. So I hopefully will have played some of these at the very least, but similarly to the indie game thing, it can go either way, where I've either played every single game on the list or none of them at all. So we'll see. Nine Kings is the first one on here, and I believe this is actually also a demo dive reject, but let me see if I have it anywhere on a list. It's not on Player Nay. It could be on my Steam. Give me a second. No, I believe this is, if I looked further in my Notion, I could probably find this on a demo dive list somewhere that I was supposed to demo this for something and I just ran out of time. So I can't give a whole on that. Schedule 1, I believe this is like a multiplayer horror type game. But again, I don't know enough about it. Same deal with Repo, but I think Repo actually could win because I know this got quite popular because I've seen this. This little guy I think is in Fortnite. Like, that means something. Grounded 2. I actually kind of hope Grounded wins because I know I heard a lot of really good stuff about this one. It could win, I would say. I've not played it because it's more of a multiplayer game and I didn't play the first Grounded. I also really don't like bugs, but I've heard a lot of people really enjoy this game. White Knuckle, I think this is also technically a demo dive reject somewhere. This is a horror game, so I rejected it for that reason. And then Skate came out this year and it was in early access. So these are some bigger early access titles, not necessarily all indie. I'm gonna vote for Grounded, but I do think it's between Skate, Grounded, and Repo, quite frankly. But I'm gonna vote for Grounded. Best gaming hardware. All right, the Switch 2 Pro Controller. I have a Switch 2. I do not have a Pro Controller yet because I'm totally fine using the Joy-Cons until, and also just my old Pro Controllers. They still work. I actually haven't even tried it yet because I just use the Joy-Cons. The Joy-Cons are really nice. If it was the Switch 2 Joy-Cons, I would vote that for sure. But I did try the Pro Controller at the hands-on event earlier this year, but I don't own one. Still might vote for it though, because I do think the Switch 2 hardware in general is good. Next, we got a chip, AMD chip. I don't use, well, actually my laptop uses AMD, but it's I think it's a 7 because it's a little bit older. SSD, okay. Razer Blade 16. Now I think I actually have a 16, or I have either somewhere between a 14 and a 16, because I think the 16 came out this year for Razer Blade. I think a 15. I think I have a Razer Blade 15, or it's a 14. I have the pink one, and I really like it. I don't know what to tell you guys. I really like the Razer Blades. I have not used the 16, so I can't tell you. But I would vote for this, I think. I really like them. My one gripe is that it came with Windows 11, and I hate Windows 11. Anyways, the Nintendo Switch 2 is on here. I think I'm gonna vote for the Switch 2 because I actually really like my Switch 2. I'm very happy I purchased one early. I really like it. What can I say? We got the Elgato Facecam 4K. I use a Logitech webcam that's like probably 10 years old at this point for my VTuber, and it does the job. Like, I am so, compared to other VTubers, I am so low tech on my hardware and stuff that I use to VTube, and it does the job. Like, I got hands. Look at this. I got hands. This is the stinky little Logitech webcam. I got hands. So I'm voting for the Switch 2. I actually think the Switch 2 will win as well. Just because that a huge year for the Switch 2. The whole rollout of this was insane. I got to go to the in-person hands-on events, which was really cool. There's a bunch of sirens outside, so I hope everyone's okay, but I hope also that you guys don't hear it on my microphone. I'm voting for the Switch 2. Best game adaptation. This is gonna be a fun category. This is exactly what it sounds like. You can see The Last of Us Season 2 down here. I did hear very mixed opinions about Season 2, so I will say that. I haven't watched it. But the Devil May Cry Netflix series, very mixed opinions on this. I heard actually more negative opinions of this than positive. Positive opinions were that it looked really good. Minecraft movie will probably win, and I really hope this singular screenshot does not get me copyright ban hammered. But I do think the Minecraft movie will win, regardless of what else is nominated, because this was huge. I think it deserves the win, quite frankly. I will say that. I'm not voting for it, but I think it deserves the win. It went insane. People I never heard talking about Minecraft or video games ever they were talking about it. So Secret Level, that came out at the very end of last year. I do want to watch this, but it's on Prime Video, and I hate logging into Prime Video, so I have not watched it. It's also not my login, it's somebody else's. So Arcane Season 2, I have a confession to make. I never finished Arcane Season 2. I'm afraid to, because I heard very mixed opinions once again. I've watched like half of it. That is my confession. I was so excited when it came out, and I didn't, anyways, I leave you with that one. Sonic 3, I forgot about this movie. I'm gonna vote for Arcane, because I don't want to vote for Minecraft. Pick your poison. Warner Brothers or Riot Games. I'm picking Riot Games. Best game trailers next. I hope the Silksong trailer, the Gamescom Silksong trailer is here, because that was a cultural moment. The official release date trailer for Rhythm Doctor is nominated. The second trailer for Grand Theft Auto. The Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 trailer that I multiple times had to censor out of videos because it was so like Just so many monetization DMCA hazards. So many. Violence, gore, nudity, all of it. It was all there. So I'm not voting for this one because it was annoying every single time. It was a good trailer, but I had to censor it so much. Okay, the Expanse Osiris Reborn announcement trailer. I remember this title, but I remember the trailer itself. It was actually really good, I think, because I didn't know it was part of another, like, franchise with a TV show and stuff. So the Battlefield 6 live action trailer, no. The announcement trailer for Romeo as a Dead Man, I don't think this is going to win, but I remember it, and it was so good. I think I had to censor part of that as well, but it was sick. So I'm gonna vote for that. I actually don't know what's gonna win. Probably the GTA trailer, because a lot of people really like GTA, but I'm gonna vote for Romeo as a Dead Man, because I really liked that trailer. Most wanted game. This is another category where we can pick 3 options, 1 being our top, 3 being our not as top. And so we're gonna pick some of these. Resident Evil Requiem will probably win just based off of the hype this got at Gamescom, and then to a lesser degree Tokyo Game Show, but still quite a bit of hype. Everybody was talking about this at Gamescom every single day. There was like multiple people. I think it was Future Games Show did a segment on, they did a stream at Gamescom, and in the first 15 minutes, I think they mentioned Resident Evil Requiem 3 different times in the first like 10 to 15 minutes. So if that tells you anything about the hype for this game, it is very real. So I think it'll win. I don't know if I'm gonna vote for it, but I do think it'll win. Black Myth Zhongkuai. I'm excited for this. I think it's gonna be really cool. Residents of Plague Tale Legacy. I didn't play the last one. Light No Fire, I don't remember seeing anything about. The trailer, or I guess next is the upcoming Kojima game, which is OD. I remember the hype for this being good, but again, I don't really know anything about this game, so I'm not really super crazy for it. Blood of Dawnwalker, I don't remember. Grand Theft Auto, I'm not really into that. The Witcher 4, I actually will say I am kind of excited for this one. Expanse, kind of excited. Soros, this was, I believe, shown off a little bit at Tokyo Game Show, and I thought this was really cool. Kingdom Hearts 4, sure. Crimson Desert, oh, Crimson Desert is my number 1. That is from the same studio that did Black Desert Online, obviously. I really am looking forward to it, and it was shown off a little bit at Gamescom, but they didn't have a ton of info on it, and they were like, there's gonna be more info sooner than you think, and then they showed off like they had a release date trailer at Tokyo Game Show, and I was floored. So that's my number 1. Next is the upcoming Naughty Dog game, Intergalactic. I might vote for this one because the trailer for this was so cool. Exodus, I don't. Wizards of the Coast. Now what are you doing here? Interesting. I don't know what that game is. Subnautica 2. Hell Let Loose. This is a war game, not for me. 007 First Light, not for me. Onimusha, and they used this particular screenshot. You might have got me with that. Lego Batman, not for me. I might vote for Onimusha. Onimusha and Intergalactic, I think. Ooh, but Kingdom Hearts 4 and Saros. Ooh, Kingdom Hearts 4. My 3 is very up in the air because it's like all of these, like I remember back to the trailers for a lot of these and I'm like, these were all really cool. Like they were cool. Like, I think I'm gonna give it to Saros, quite frankly. Yeah, I'm gonna give it to Saros because that one looked really good. Let's do it. It might be a bit of recency bias there, but hey, it is what it is. Actually, I think I'm giving it to Onimusha. I lied. That's the screenshot, man. All right, submit those answers. One more. Oh, it's this question. So you can put in your email and stuff if you want to like get an ebook. I don't want the ebook, and I'm also not doxing myself, so let's just submit those votes. Yay, we did it! Ultimate Game of the Year voting takes place in a separate window from November 3rd to November 7th. There's a very strong chance this video will go up very close to that window, if not during that window, so make sure to check that out. I will probably circle back and do a separate Ultimate Game of the Year. Actually, I'm gonna put that on my schedule right now, actually, so we remember to do that. So we'll be doing like a shorter video like this. Put on the schedule really quickly. Grab the link, and there we go. We'll come back. But that was our votes. We yapped for like an hour. My allergies are really bad now. The live show will be on November 20th. I do have the exact date and time for that, actually. So let me pull that up. Nope, I don't have the time handy. But it is November 20th. We will come back for Ultimate Game of the Year. We'll talk through it a little bit more again. Hopefully it'll be a shorter video, but I don't remember how many things they include for Ultimate Game of the Year, like how many titles are in there. I don't know if it's like a just everyone's nominated type of thing or what, but yeah, that was the votes. We'll be back November 20th. Actually, before that, we'll be back like between the 3rd and the 7th. But the video itself might take a little bit longer to get up because that is right before my birthday and I am gonna be a little busy that weekend. So that is it for this video. Thank you guys for watching. If you liked this video, make sure to give me a like down below, as well as subscribe for more and hit the little notification bell to be notified when I upload new ones. Let me know in the comments down below what you would vote for some of these categories. No fighting. Everyone can have their own opinion, and everyone's allowed to be wrong. I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding. But yeah, what's everyone voting for? Or what did everybody vote for? And if you don't have anything, what was everyone's favorite game this year? That's the easier version of that question. Anyways, as always, I hope everyone is having a super lovely day wherever you are in the world, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye, guys.